Well, hello, everyone. This is 2026 International Women's Day, and we are so honored to have one of the most well-respected international stars of the world on International Women's Day. Leslie McCurdy, thank you so much for joining us and being here today and allowing us to, to spotlight one of the true international women of the world.
Thank you, for acknowledging my work. And it's truly a privilege to, as a Harriet Tubman performer, especially to be acknowledged for Harriet Tubman Awards.
I always under promise and over deliver. And so believe me, I underdid it. Okay. I really underdid it. I've seen some interviews with you, and your resume is so powerful that, I left a whole lot out. So I was just trying to sum it up. But you are truly accomplished, and you come from an incredibly accomplished family. And so some of that accolades was for your family. And when we say McCurdy, the McCurdys deserve all of that. But I appreciate all your humility in this space, in this place. So this video is being aired right now on Harriet Tubman Day, March 10th, which is celebrated around the world, especially in Brampton, Ontario. And that is where we have our Woman of the Year, Harriet Tubman Woman of the Year accolades. And we're so grateful that you accepted that to be part of that very special group of women, international women, who we acknowledge and celebrate for their achievements in many, many areas of life. And yours has a lot to do with on stage. But what you share on stage leaves people thinking differently about our Queen Mother, Harriet Tubman. And I would love for you to just share with us a little bit about this show.
It's 29 years that I've been performing my play, The Spirit of Harriet Tubman.
Wow. So if you could take us from the beginning, try to cover some milestones within that 29 years, but, some of the discovery, because obviously from year 1 to year 29, things have spoken to you, and you've, I'm sure, have grown that character.
Well, I've certainly grown during doing The Spirit of Harriet Tubman. In the beginning, I wasn't really an actor. I mean, I literally tripped and fell into acting. My background and training and aspirations were all related to dance. And I was working really hard to get into the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater in New York, and was the closest I'd gotten. I was going to train one summer with a third company just to see what was going to happen, and I tripped and fractured my hip, and that effectively ended my dance career at that level. And a friend asked me to come and audition for a one-woman play that he was directing about Harriet Tubman, and after calling me a few times and me saying, no, I can't act, and him finally saying, but Harriet Tubman, I agreed to audition, and he cast me, and that's how I started doing Harriet Tubman with somebody else's play. I was working under a director who asked me to edit that play, and I did some work under his production company, and then when he was done with it, he said, okay, you can do with it what you want. And I started getting performances for it, always keeping in mind that there was another playwright to this and putting a little money away just in case. But eventually I was contacted by the playwright who gave me a cease and desist order, told me never to utter another word of her play again. Tried to work something out, sent the money I had. They didn't think it was enough. They wanted more per show than what I was getting per show at that time. So I was like, seriously? But I gave up, and then decided that I would write my own play, because I had a series of performances scheduled in Ottawa schools that I could not afford to cancel.
Yeah.
And in the time that I had, which was approximately a month, I recall writing the play in about 3 weeks, memorizing it in about 2 days,
wow,
figuring out how to perform it on stage one day with a friend of mine,
wow,
trying it in the school where there was a principal who was a friend of my parents, and then meeting my commitment. And here we are 29 years later.
My goodness. Talking about pivot, the multitude of pivots that you had to go through, and even to make a decision that, hey, I know you're, well-trained in the art of dance. I mean, it's something you have degrees in, right? Like, you had your mind made up in that space. Yes. Did you find a way for dance to find its way in your play, your production? I mean, I've seen pieces of it, but does any of your dance come out?
I didn't specifically choreograph any dance into it, But people say because of the way I move through it, it almost looks like a dance. And they could definitely tell I'm a dancer.
And I'm sure.
But it's the movement a lot that pulls people into it.
So tell me about the difference between that original Harriet Tubman play to the one that you birthed.
Well, the other one was written based on what that playwright interpreted Harriet Tubman to be. And mine is written on based on what I interpret Harriet Tubman to be. And one of the major differences, one of the difficulties I had with the other one is that there was a moment within it when the playwright attributed Harriet's motivation to be from anger and hate. And I have never found anything to tell me that any of Harriet Tubman's motivation was anger and hate, which isn't to say that as a human being, she didn't experience anger,
right,
or didn't experience hate emotionally at times. You know, we all experience a range of emotions, but that wasn't her motivation.
I love that.
Right?
I love that.
Stay tuned for the continuation of this amazing interview with Leslie McCurdy, writer and actress of the one-woman play, The Spirit of Harriet.